Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an M12, the Tier 7 American SPG. It's located on the southwest spawn of Highway, and it's under the command of Moose. Yes, another of Moose's replays in the M12. You can see he's already turned purple because he's got a 56% win rate and he does the damage associated with that. And he's got 2 marks of excellence on his barrel. Okay, he's moving away and he's knocking the buildings down as he goes. Of course, these buildings do provide cover for any enemy that's trying to cap at our base. So sometimes it can actually be quite useful to knock these buildings down and remove the cover. Sometimes though, the buildings do actually give you a clue as to where the enemy might be. Of course, the buildings get destroyed by the enemy, then you'll know, aha, that's where they are. But of course, if they don't destroy them, then you know that they could be hiding between them, and well, he doesn't want to give the enemy the chance to use some cover. Okay, he's aiming towards the midpoint at the moment, into the field. An enemy tank has been spotted, Progetto Tier 8 Italian Premium Medium. You can see how long it takes to dial in on the M12. It does take some time. He's got a 155mm gun, not a howitzer. Does 700 alpha, and it'll penetrate up to 39mm of armour with a burst radius of 7.6 meters. It's a gun of French design. The Americans made 100 of these Artys, the M12, otherwise known as the door knocker, because it used to knock down bunkers. And they made 100. They built 40 the first year, 60 the second year, and they used M3 hulls to mount the gun on it. So it was basically a very well-known and stable carrier for the gun. And they sent them to Europe. They sent a number to Europe to fight, and they were quite successful. In fact, there's several pictures of these guys in action. In fact, one of them is still being held at the Artillery Museum at Fort Sill, Adolf's assassin, and there's some actual photographs of Adolf's assassin in Europe fighting against the Germans. They did use these Arty in direct fire mode sometimes, and they were very effective. It is, after all, a 155mm howitzer, and if those of you have been lucky enough to see a 155mm howitzer, and let alone actually see one fire, you know that this Arty is actually quite powerful. Okay, a couple of the enemy tanks have got close, the Progetto and the CS-53. They're sitting at the centre line. But they don't want to come any closer because there's a Challenger, an ISU-152 and a 45 TP blocking their path. And of course we've got a Progetto 46 nearby as well, so if they do try to push it, they might get shot in the back as they try to. The 45 TP doesn't give 2 figs and goes in and hits the guys. And well, our M12, Panty Eater, the other M12 in the team, actually managed to get the kill on the CS-53. Now we're 1 tank down on the enemy at the moment, but I think that's about to equalise, because I think that Progetto is about to die, but he might kill our Challenger. He does. But the Progetto is now gone, and it's 3-4. Okay, the guys are coming out of the city. It looks like they've managed to conquer all of our guys in there, except the Centurion and the KV-4, but I don't expect them to live very much longer. He gets a direct hit there on the rear of that M449. That's not the Liberté version, that's the standard plainclothes version. And he's picked up some stun assist off stunning the guard. But it looks like we've lost the city, although the scores have now been equalised. Now, talking about my commentary, there was a recent video by Steve Walsh on his gaming, on his channel, and he was talking about how various people do their commentary for replays. Some try to actually educate and inform, others, just want to commentate on what's actually coming out. And of course, he called that asinine and moronic. Well, I don't particularly like being called asinine and moronic, and what I do is I try to commentate on this battle as if I am the interested observer of what's going on, trying to encourage and enthusiastically support the player, because after all, the player who sent this in, Moose, is a very good player, and he obviously wants his videos and his replays to be viewed in a good light. So after all, this is his pride. He enjoys this. So I find it a bit off-putting when somebody who previously I would respect describes my work as asinine or moronic. I don't think Steve Walsh truly understands the whole point of these replays. After all, the only reason that Jingles started doing replays was actually so that he could keep his own replays available on video, because he knew that if he didn't, then he wouldn't be able to watch them again because the clients would keep changing. But as it turned out, lots of people sent replays into Jingles because they quite enjoyed his commentary, and of course they knew that if he'd done their replay, they'd always be able to watch it on YouTube no matter what happened to the clients. Now that 45 TP we thought was a bit pushy, devil may care you might say, and diving in to try and kill that Progetto. He's actually made it to the enemy base area now, and although there is an SU-152 in the vicinity, because he was last seen in that area, he's actually still pushing ahead to try and get to the enemy cap. The worry is, of course, that the enemy tanks in the town are more likely going to come in our direction very shortly, and that might mean that Moose has to relocate out to the field and then shoot back at his own cap to stop the enemy from winning. The 45 TP might be about to discover the enemy Arty, but unfortunately we just spotted enemy tanks coming in from the town, and we just lost our ISU-152 to that Oni. Just fired, rounds out, lands just in front of him, 63 hit points of splash, and yep, Moose is out of there. He's going. He'll try and get out by the flattest way possible because he doesn't want to slow down M12 down. It's not a very fast Arty. 38 kilometers an hour forwards, 10 rear, reverse rather, and a 22.01 second reload on the gun. 2 Arty have been spotted, the M12 and the GW, and an SU-14-1, and that's a much slower Arty, so he's going for that one first. Rounds out. This should be a kill if it lands right. Yes, it does. He's got another kill. In fact, his first kill. We lost the 45 TP though. Taken out by that SU-14-1, funnily enough. Okay, Moose is moving up to the centre line. He's going to have to fire back at his own cap. Hopefully his teammates in the other Arties, the SU-14-1 and M12, will provide sufficient spotting to enable us to reset the cap when the Oni gets there. But our E25 has found their Sturmil and SU-152. At least I think he's found one of them. And Moose is going to try and help him with the SU-152. Oh, he's found the Sturmil. Yep, there we go. And that's a very slow tank destroyer with no armour. And yeah, that's what happens to it. Yeah. Arty round hits a Sturmil, it's more likely going to penetrate the armour and do a full roll, in which case they're going to be out the game. I actually took out a Sturmil that hadn't been spotted, but just knocked a tree down at the start of a battle, and I got him with just one shot from my AMX-13 F3. He's just hit the SU-152 in the side for 250. One more shot like that and he's out the game. And in fact, actually, the E25 has just killed him. And that means now there is only one enemy vehicle back at their cap area, and that is the Arty, the M12. And he's just killed him, which means now the Oni is on his own. And despite the fact that the Oni has killed one of our Arties, and there you go, that's the winning shot. Moose has done it. Now he does his victory dance. Wow, that was a good game. It looked for a second as if they were about to get overrun, but Moose did the right thing. He moved to the field and it paid off. And here's the end of battle results. It's an ace tanker for Moose in the M12. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 16 But he didn't get any other medals in that game, I'm afraid. No, just the Ace Tanker, which shows that he is better than 99% of all other players in the past week in this vehicle. That's no small achievement because a lot of people play this vehicle and the standard's quite high. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see from this that he didn't get the highest damage. That went to the Oni, but he didn't pick up the high caliber. He got 2,257 hit points of damage, whereas Moose got 2,249 hit points of damage. So there was just 8 hit points in it for the high caliber. When it came to kills, it was shared between Moose, the E25 and the Oni, all with 3 kills each. 2 kills for the other M12, the T44-100, the ISU-152, and this STG guard on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, yes, Moose gets that one for sure. So he's got 2 out of 3. 1,212 base for Moose. 1,016 for the Beecher, the 45 TP, who was very brave and went in there to get that Progetto and then moved to the enemy cap area and discovered where the enemy were. And these were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 base, the next highest scorer being the M12, the other M12 on his team with 839. Moose fired 14 rounds, got 7 direct hits, 2 penetration, 12 splash. Damage of 2,249 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 3, and did 173 hit points of damage assistance, and 1,322 hit points of stun assist off 11 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 30,437 credits, and after ammunition resupply took away 29,976 credits. He got 1,212 XP, times 2 for the first victory, 909 from personal reserves, and took away 4,545 experience points altogether. So a very satisfactory game for Moose, a smart decision to move north into the field, to the centre line, to ensure that he can continue to fire in either direction and provide support. And of course his support took out that Sturmill and finally took out that Oni back at his camp and won the game for his team. So well done, Moose. And we've got another replay of Moose coming up very shortly, so stick around for that one and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. If you enjoyed this replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching.